now going to go into the famous 20p shop. Dun, dun, dun. Skipton now. Let's see what we can find. So it's been a bit of a grey and miserable day today. I've just got the church in the background there. I'm just at Skipton and we did Otley first this morning. Got there for, it was about 10 o'clock-ish, I think. And we had 2.5 hours there, so we had a good look round. And then there was a couple of charity shops that were shut, so they disappeared. One didn't open till later, so I had to go back. And there wasn't very much, so it's a little bit disappointing, but that sometimes happens when you go thrifting. Either the gods are with you or they're not. And yeah, it's getting towards the end of the day now. We're getting picked up at 4:30. So I thought, I've done all the charity shops in Skipton. I've got a beautiful piece of Egyptian silver, lovely pendant that I'm looking forward to showing you. That was from the Oxfam shop. I got a little bit of end of day glass, a lovely necklace, a long kind of flapper style necklace, that's lovely. Yeah, but not too much, but it's been nice. It's been nice to get out and have a potter around somewhere different. And yeah. Hey up and welcome back to the channel. So today I have an assortment of things to show you from my trip to Otley Market and Skipton Market. So it was a Yorkshire Rose holidays trip. They do day trips and holidays as well, short breaks. So they had an offer on and the trip was only a tenner, which was awesome. It was a full day out as well. So the coach picked me up in Wakefield at 8:30 and then it goes to Castleford and Pontefract to pick people up. I think there was a half coach load of people. I had a lady behind me that got chatting till she was funny. Her friend had booked her on the trip. She'd not been on one before and she didn't know what seat she was sitting in, and then she got in the wrong seat and then she was in somebody else's seat and we were having a good old laugh about it. So yeah, that was nice. It's always nice to meet people and get chatting. Everybody's dead friendly, so whenever we do pickups and people get on, everybody says morning and hello and stuff. It's lovely. So yeah, so we had a nice trip into Otley first. Otley's like a little market town. And it was market day as well, so in the little square, which is very, very small, they did have the market on. So they had things like cheese stalls, veggie stalls. There was the fishman was there with the Whitby van. There was a stall selling Indian food that looked lovely with like onion bhajis and pakoras and different things and curries. Yeah, there was a little bit of everything. So I had a little look around there and then went to the charity shops. So one of the ones that I wanted to visit, which should have been the first one from where we were dropped off, was actually closed and gone. So that was the Cats Protection. And then I went to Gemma's Hospice, which is my favourite, and they had a little sign on the door saying that they weren't open until 11. So I had to wander around to the other side and do some of the other charity shops before heading back to Gemma's Hospice. So you'll have seen a little bit of footage of me kind of plodding around and having a good nosy. I couldn't film in Gemma's Hospice because they'd opened late. It was absolutely rammed with people. Everything is 99 pence, so it's very, very cheap. There's the odd rail where things are individually priced, and that's kind of when they've recognised something as designer or vintage. But even if it's individually priced, it's still really reasonable. But I shall show you what I picked up for resale, and then I'll go on and show you what I got from Skipton as well. It was quite a grey day, to be fair, but it stayed dry, so that was good. This is the first piece of jewellery that I picked up. So it was on the shelf in this kind of funky box, and it's got the price on the top there. It was £1.95, so I opened it up. I'll try and hold it so that you can see. There we go. So it's a really sweet bracelet, and then on each of the sections is a little individual porcelain disc, and then on each of the discs is a little transfer flower. So this one is in blue and white. There we go. So it's similar to kind of like a book chain style. All the little squares are linked together and they've got like a little pattern on them. But I thought the flowers, I thought that was really, really nice. And I actually have a pair of stud earrings that I got from another charity shop that match. They're an exact match. So I think when I list this, I will put the earrings with it as well, so that someone can purchase it as a set. So I thought that was pretty good for £1.95. So that was my first pickup. And then I did go in Gemma's Hospice when it opened. I picked up a couple of clothes bits for myself, and then I had a look at the jewellery. It was a little bit awkward because the fella was putting jewellery out and people were trying to look at the same time. So it was a bit of a, yeah, I went upstairs and had a look up there, which is where all their homeware and books are, and came back down hoping that, you know, he'd finished and moved on. But no, he was still putting stuff out. I think he was taking stuff off and putting stuff out as well. But I managed to get a quick peek, and I picked this bangle up. So it's a rhinestone bangle. Some of the stones are missing, but that's not a problem because I've got some of these stones upstairs. But I liked the arrangement. So the stones are just a clear rhinestone, and then they've got that AB, Aurora Borealis, finish to them. So when they sparkle all different colours. So greens, yellows, purples, pinks, blues. And when I took these to the counter, I thought these were going to be 99 pence each. She charged me 50p. So that was even better. And then the only other piece of jewellery I got in there was this brooch. There we go. It's got beautiful glass cabochon in the centre, and then it's got like little like leaves to me around the outside, and then little tiny purple rhinestones. And again, some of those stones are missing. But for 50p, you can't turn that down. So I don't think there's any maker's mark on or anything. I'm just going to take it off the card and have a quick look. No. So it's a foil back, open back brooch. No maker's marks or anything, but in really good condition, just the stones missing. So all I've got to do is stick those in, and then I'll be able to resell that one. I love a brooch. Who doesn't love a brooch? Right, what else did we get in Otley? Got some curtains, which I'm either going to resell or I'm going to use. I love vintage curtains. You always seem to get kind of really different quirky patterns and retro prints and things. And I like these because they're simple, and I like the fabric. I'm just not sure where I'd put them in the house. And these were a bargain. These were in Gemma's Hospice, and they were upstairs where the homeware stuff is. And they were in the bag, original bag, and these were £1.98 for a pair of curtains, fully lined. They're for your old-fashioned kind of hook rails. However, you can convert these into, you know, being able to put them on poles. It's not a problem. So these, hopefully better see it on the camera. There we go. So they've got a bit of a shine to them, and then they've got this lovely kind of raised lined pattern running across. So really nice and simple. It's kind of a pale, not a sage green, just a really pale leaf green, and quite long. And like I said, these are fully lined as well, and they came with the tie backs as well, which is awesome. So really good condition. I'm going to give them a wash just because they've been stored somewhere and they've got that bit of a musty smell. But yeah, I'm either going to pop those maybe on the landing, because I could do with some new curtains up there, although I'm not going to put them up yet because we're having our bathroom fitting done in a week's time, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of mess and dirt and dust and things, so there's no point washing them and putting them up and then having to take them down again. So I think I'll put them to one side, I'll put them up and see what they look like, and then if I'm going to keep them, I'll put them to one side, and if not, I shall pop them on eBay for resale. The other thing I got in there, and this was just because I just couldn't walk away from it, it was too cute. So I love any kind of vintage gift wrap, cards, ephemera, that kind of thing. And this was just in with a load of cards in a little basket. So I had a little rifle through, and it was just on its own, and I couldn't pass it up. So if I hold that up, how cute is that? It's got these little blue birds with the bells. So it's some wedding wrapping paper. So if you were getting a wedding gift for somebody, it's just a single sheet, but in really good condition. And she charged me 20p for it. So I thought I'll find something to do with that. I'm not sure what, but I'll put it with my crafting stuff and maybe make something with that. So yeah, Otley wasn't too bad. I was a little bit disappointed jewellery wise because I'd only got those 2 pieces. And then the coach was picking us back up at 1:30. And the road that it was on, there was a charity shop down the other end, Mind. So I thought I'll make that my last stop, and then I can cross over and wait for the coach. So it started raining by then, so I had a little pootle down, I had my umbrella up and what have you, and popped in there, and literally as I walked in the door, there was jewellery hanging up on displays. There was a big kind of dish where they put things in. Everything in the dish was £1. The clip-on earrings were £1, and then there was a few kind of items that were individually priced. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised in there. So the Mind shop saved the Otley trip, really. So I'll show you what I got. I'm absolutely in love with one of these items, and I might have to wear them for a little bit before I resell them. Now, these were the first thing that caught my eye because there were 2 of them, and it's not a brand I'm familiar with. So the little tag says Noir London, so N, and then it's kind of like 2 O's together, UR. So I have Googled it and looked it up, and it's just a fashion brand based in London. They have like a boutique. So this is a necklace, but look at that chunky heart pendant. So shiny on one side and then rhinestones on the other, and everything's intact. And then it's on this nice mixed chain that's got some faux pearl detail on one side. It's got a nice chunky lobster claw fastening, really good condition. I don't think anybody's even worn it. And that was in the pound basket. So I thought, ooh, that'll be good for eBay. I'm sure someone would like that. And I was curious about the brand as well, so I wanted to be able to look that up. And then as I'd had a little rummage around, love a good rummage, I found this second one. So they had it in gold as well. So exactly the same design, the same little tag on there. What I'll do is, like I usually do, I'll spread everything out and pan round, and then you'll be able to see the little tag and what it looks like, just so you can recognise it if you're out treasure hunting yourself. So they were £1 each. And then this one I paid for, this had an individual price on it. Now I've seen quite a few of these around. I've had earrings that are very similar, and they had this one and a blue one, which was a slightly different shape. It was like a teardrop shape. But the blue one was £4.50, whereas this one was £2.50. So I went for the cheaper one, just because I thought £4.50 was a bit much. So it's got a nice hook clasp at the top. And then look at that. So it's almost like a root beer colour glass with this cream inside. And then these little bits here, these little tassel bits, have got a little chip bead of tiger's eye at the bottom to match in with the brown. But I love all this kind of twisted wire work. I think it's beautiful. There we go. Again, that's something that I would actually wear. It's very pretty. I have to be very careful or else I end up trying to keep everything and then, yeah, don't have anything to sell. Although I've been really good lately. I've been listing. I did some listing yesterday. I've got some listing to do today as well. I've had a good couple of days where I did lots of photographing and tweaking about with it on Canva and getting it ready to list. This was in the pound dish as well. Do you know, it's really funny, this stuff keeps popping up for me. So I bought some earrings that were kind of very Renee McIntosh style. And then ever since I got the earrings, I've been seeing it everywhere. So I've seen bracelets, I've seen bedding with the pattern on, I saw some curtains. And then this brooch, look at that. So this has got the roses on and it's got enamel, red enamel and then green enamel there. But that is beautiful. I like how it's got this cut out detail as well. Really nice. And that was £1. And it does have a little maker's mark on it. It says gems. So that must be the brand. But I thought that was stunning for £1. So yeah, this stuff keeps popping up for me. It's one of those things, or maybe it's just that because I've seen it, like my eye is drawn to it everywhere I go. Who knows? Then these are clip-on earrings. I love these. I love any kind of statement clip-ons. I love any kind of statement earrings. I've got my nice big drops in today, my brass, vintage brass drops. So these were hanging up, and these are like a door knocker style. So quite 80s retro. And all the earrings were £1. These don't have any maker's marks on or anything, but in really good condition. There's no damage to the plating, which is awesome. And then these are the last thing that I got, and these, I laughed when I saw them because I just thought, how bold and statementy are these? And they're just fantastic. There we go. Look at those. And they're huge. So these are clip-on earrings. Oh, love them. I'm very tempted to wear them for a little while. And they're kind of a nice antique, kind of like a dull gold finish to them. They're beautiful. And they're articulated, so the bottom piece moves about. And they are clip-ons. No maker's mark on these, which I was really surprised. I thought these might have been a particular brand. I did do a Google Lens search and I found a pair that had little faux pearls here where those dots are. So they were exactly the same shape and size, but they had pearl detail. But I couldn't find any that were exactly the same as this. So I think for me, they were my best find of Otley for sure. And I was quite chuffed then because I kind of had this little bag of jewellery. The coach had pulled up, so I went over and got on the coach and I sat there like a little magpie having a look at all my little bits and pieces. But yeah, I was really, really happy. And then we went off to Skipton and there was a little bit of traffic, so we did get there a little bit later than planned. But the weather was starting to drop, so the cold was coming in and the damp was coming in. So instead of staying in Skipton till 5, we set off at 4:30, which, to be honest, I'd had enough by then. My legs were absolutely killing me. My hips were aching. The bottom of my back was aching. It's a lot of walking around. And a lot of other people were the same as well. They'd had enough. But we had a couple of hours, so it was plenty of time. I had my list of my charity shops, so I kind of did a loop around the town and managed to fit them all in. So I shall show you what I got. So one of the first things I picked up, and I have yet to identify the gemstone. I have a friend, Nadine, who, she's amazing with crystals. She loves her crystals. She recently bought one of the crystal necklaces that I'd listed, and she's really good at identifying what things are. So I'm thinking of taking a photograph and sending it to her to see if she can let me know what this is. So this was hanging up on the wall with some other necklaces. And it's a really, really pale blue, almost like a minty green blue. And they're really unusual shape, very, very smooth, very cold to the touch. And then they're kind of connected with a silver wire twisted in between each of the beads. Now, I liked it because it's a shorter necklace, so it'll sit nice and high on the skin. I loved the beads. I love anything gemstone. I have a lot of gemstone jewellery myself. And then when I picked it up and examined it a little bit closer, on the clasp, and this is one of the places that you should always look if you are on the hunt for jewellery. On the clasp itself, so there we are, the lobster clasp, on the little lever that's inside, it had some writing on. And usually you can see a 925 in there if it's silver. So I had a quick look, and on the body of the lobster claw clasp, it says TGGC, which was a jewellery channel, which I didn't know because I don't watch anything like that on TV. Don't watch a lot of TV, to be fair. So I googled it, and it was a jewellery channel where they sold this type of jewellery. It doesn't exist anymore. It got bought out, and then I think it moved. So yeah, I was quite happy with those. So nice sterling silver, and it was £2.75. So yeah, all I need to do now is identify those gemstones. If you can tell just from looking, I will do a close-up as well. Drop me a comment down below and let me know. I'd love to know what gemstone it is. I like to include, when I'm listing something like this, I like to include as much information as possible. What else did we pick up there? I got these 2 cards. I always pick cards up because they can be quite expensive, particularly if you want something a little bit different, a little bit quirky, so not just your typical kind of card factory, high street shop stuff. So the first one I picked up was this, and this is Happy as a Pig In, which I thought was quite funny. So it's a lovely piggy rolling around in the muck. And that was £1. Originally that had been £3. It's got the sticker on the back. I thought that'll come in for someone to either cheer them up or for the birthday or something. And then this one I absolutely love. I am well into kind of my witchy stuff and folklore and magic and all that kind of thing. And this is a Change of Fortune spell card. There we go. So someone's hand illustrated it, which is lovely. And then inside it has the actual spell. So it tells you what the spell is for and then when you should do the spell as well. So this magic spell can be used on any windy day. The winds of change blow away obstacles and create changes of fortune. And then you've got to chant the spell so many times and see what happens. But yeah, I just thought that was really quirky. I've probably got a friend that will appreciate that, so I shall put that to one side. And that one was 50p, that one was £1. So bargains. So I picked this little pot up just because it was quite vibrant with the colours. I love any kind of stoneware. Behind me, I've got some pots and vases and things. Been trying to do a little display, and this is probably going to go on there as well. So it's a transfer one. It's got these beautiful, vibrant flowers, and that was £1.25. So I will probably pop that on here somewhere and add it to the collection. I keep moving them around and seeing what they look like. We're trying to I'm trying to make this space nice, because when the bathroom fitting happens, this house is going to be in chaos. There'll be stuff everywhere, and I just want to have like one room that's a sanctuary that I can kind of work in and get away from the chaos. And yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. The other piece of jewellery that I picked up, these are kind of my 2 special pieces. This was in a specials cabinet, and the lady got it out for me to have a look at. It was the same shop that the other gemstone necklace came from, so maybe the same person donated both of them. But this is gorgeous. It's my favourite colour, orange, so I was attracted to it straight away, and it's carnelian. So look at that. So it's 2 strands, graduated, and it's got these beautiful carnelian gemstone beads. Carnelian is really good for creativity as well. So I have a few carnelian jewellery pieces that I have and that I wear. I might actually wear this for a little while before selling it on. It's got nice brass finish with a hook, and that was in their specials cabinet, and that one was £4.50, which was absolutely worth it. It's really good quality, really unusual. Yeah, so I was really quite chuffed with that. Very nice. And then the last piece, what else did I get? Oh yes, I got this. This was in, I want to say Martin's House Hospice, is that right? Oh, it doesn't say on the little tag. I think it was. They had a couple of necklaces hanging up on the wall, and then they had an upstairs section, so I had a look around there. And then when I came back down, I grabbed this. So it's a really long flapper style necklace, beaded, with little metal connections in between. And then the beads are end of day glass. So at the end of the day, the glass that hasn't been used up, they turn it into these beads. So it's got lots of different swirls of colour in. So the necklace itself is kind of like a caramel, like toffee colour. And then the big round beads have got swirls of other colours in them. Really pretty. These sell really well for me over on Etsy. I sold a purple one not long ago. That was beautiful. And that was £1. So that was a real bargain. And then this last piece is my personal favourite piece, and probably the best find of the day, I think. So I don't usually find anything in the Oxfam shops. Or if I do, it's really, really kind of priced up. But I went in because they had quite a big book section, and I wanted to have a look for my partner, see if I could find any of the books that he was looking for. But they did have a little bit of jewellery kind of dotted around on the shelves, and then they had a specials cabinet, and they had some designer pieces in there, and then they had a little, I thought it was really clever, it was a picture frame, and then instead of having the glass in and a picture, they'd taken it out and they put a velvet padded rectangle into the frame, so it stood up, and then they could hang things. They'd got little pins, and they'd pinned all these different pendants onto the velvet, and then it showed off the silver as well, which was clever. I really liked that idea. Might have to copy that. So this was hanging up there, and these were really reasonably priced. They had some other beautiful silver pendants, and nothing was over a tenner, which was brilliant. So this one is a silver 925 Egyptian pendant, and it was £7.99, which I think was well worth it. It's beautiful. What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to see if we can take this little tag off, and then. So it is shaped like a boat. So that's this section here. Then it's got the scarab beetle right in the centre. It's got an ankh either side, and then at the top there is a lotus flower. And I just thought that was amazing. And it's stamped on the back, 925. It's got a nice weight to it. It's not too thin. And it's just beautiful. I've never seen anyone like it. I've seen obviously the individual ankh. I used to have one when I was younger. I've got a big plastic one as well that I wear. I love anything Egyptian, but I've not seen one this shape, and I did do a Google Lens and I couldn't find anything similar. So I was really, really pleased with that. And again, I'm tempted to keep it. I'm tempted to keep it and wear it and love it forever. But I do have my sterling silver collection that I've put to one side, and I have been working on the website. So maybe I will list it, because I reckon someone would really love that piece just as much as I would love it. So yeah, I've been working, beavering away in the background on the website. I've kind of changed all my colour codes. Everything's now black, gold, grey and white, and that works really well together. It looks lovely. I think it looks lovely. I've yet to show it to anybody else, because I've kind of been adding pages and tweaking it and things, checking that the links work and everything. And yeah, the next thing that I need to do is add the store. So I've written out some policies, and I've kind of thought about how I want things to look on the page, the design side of it. But then I need to take some photographs of the silver pieces and then start listing the products. And then what I'll do is I'll do it in draft first and check that everything works, and then I'll probably get the shop ready and then do a bit of an announcement and let everybody know that it's open for business, which would be good. Right, you lovely bunch. I need to go and do some work, some actual work for once. Do you know, when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. So yeah, I don't mind. And usually what I do is I get my laptop, I stick a program on in the background, and then I can just kind of beaver away and get some work done while watching something as well. Usually something that Dave doesn't like to watch, or something that I've watched before. So I love The Walking Dead. That's one of my favourite series, and there are 12 seasons of it, so I can watch that over and over and over again. I absolutely love it. So it's quite nice to have something like that on in the background. But I've got more listing to do today. I've got some exercises to do. I had a physio appointment on Monday. The physio was lovely. She was a really nice lady, quite young, but she knew what ME was, which quite surprised me because not a lot of people do. So she understood that, you know, the fatigue side of it and the pain, muscles and whatnot. And we were talking about my hips and the kind of instability that I have in my hips and the weakness. And she thinks that's what's causing my hips to give out and for me to fall. So we don't think the labral tear is really contributing to that. We think it's more of a weakness in the joints. And we were talking about flexibility, and she kind of checked my legs and did some pulling and pushing and all kinds of stuff. And it turns out that I have hypermobility. So I am overly flexible, which, you know, sounds great, but actually it's not. It means that the joints don't work like normal people's joints, and they have to work harder because they can over bend, and which can cause strains and pains and aches and things, which actually explains quite a lot because I suffer in my hands and my wrists. So if I do any typing, within a matter of minutes I can feel pain setting in, and then the next day they'll be stiff and really difficult to work with. It kind of explains the weakness in my hips as well, and in my legs. And then she did a test where they check all of your, there are different points in the body that they check. I forgot what the thing's called, but you score points, and then if you score over so many points, it means that you are hypermobile. So one of them was something that I used to just think was quite funny when I was a kid, is being able to bend your thumb all the way back to your arm. So I can do that on both sides, and that is one of the things that means that you're overly flexible. The other one is your little finger going back 90 degrees, so I can do that on both. It was elbows, when you put your elbows, mine overextend. Same with the knees, although my knees were okay. They were the only part of me that didn't show any kind of hypermobility. And what was the other one? I think there was another one. But anyway, I scored 7 points out of 9. So yeah, hypermobile, which is something I didn't even know anything about, if I'm honest. But it does explain a lot. So I've been doing some reading and looking at things that I can do at home to try and strengthen my muscles, because I do suffer with a lot of fatigue, and I do suffer if I do any exercise. I have to be really careful what I do. And now I know about the hypermobility, I also need to be careful not to overstretch myself. So some of the yoga that I did in the past was probably not a good thing, because it would have pushed my joints a little bit too far. So I'm looking to see if there are any Pilates or yoga exercises that I can do at home that'll help build strength. So just some simple things that I can do over time. So yeah, we shall see. She's going to see me in 3 weeks' time to give me a couple of exercises to do with a resistance band. So I'm going to try those and see what happens. And fingers crossed it helps. Fingers crossed. The injection doesn't seem to have done very much in the hip. I'm still experiencing the same pain and the same issues, but we shall see. So as always, thank you very much for watching and subscribing and liking and commenting, and I really do love the community aspect of a YouTube channel. It's lovely. If there's anything that you want to ask me or anything that you want to comment on in the video, just drop a comment down below, and as always, I shall catch you on the next one.